I just got back from Whidbey Island, where I had a session with the slug. You might think it's crazy to drive all that way just to see a slug, but I did a search for Dr. Banana on the internet, and he has some heavy credentials. He went to Princeton and Yale, and has given a lot of papers at conferences. I had the NYU library pull some copies of the Mollusk Scientific Journal out of the stacks so I could read some of Banana's early articles that aren't online. Wow, hashtag smart guy. Some of the reading was a little slow, not surprising, and some of the pages were stuck together. The librarian said that is always a problem with the MSJ because the primary demographic of the readership is, how can I say this without sounding specious, covered in mucus. So today, Banana and I talked about some of my recent behavior that I thought might help him with my diagnosis. He thinks I'm a little, what were his words? Gung-ho about getting a new diagnosis. Well, who wouldn't be? Come on. I'm in a psychiatric holding pattern right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel in any given situation. He thanked me for sharing my perceptions as they were important and provided a lot of information and asked if I could give him some examples. I said, okay, like right now, my pants feel just wrong, like all tight but loose and bunchy. And then I looked down and I was like, oh shit. And I excused myself and went to the restroom on the far side of the waiting room, and I scurried past Mr. Tallyman without even looking at him, and I took my clothes off and then put them back on with the tags in back. And I thought, okay, this is embarrassing, but in another way, it's working, right? I was having an issue. I talked about it, put my clothes on again with the tags in the back, and I feel so much better. Therapy is awesome. Problem solved, right? Next, right? Dr. Banana asked if having some kind of label attached to my behavior made me feel safe. I said, for clothes, yes, definitely. Having the label in back helps me a lot. A lot of people say labels are bad. For example, you shouldn't use labels. Just keep the zippers and buttons in the front, which is great if you're a man in a man's world, but it's not so simple for a woman. A lot of skirts have the zippers in the back. Or, in case you are a man in a man's world and haven't considered what it's like to be a woman, sometimes the zippers are on the side. Same with shirts. Oh God. So yeah, labels help me put my clothes on correctly. It's hard to put a value on how safe that makes me feel, but if I had to guess, it would be a high value. Dr. Banana said, and furthermore, I meant labels for mental disorders, not clothes. Oh, right, okay. I told him I've been doing a little research, and as much as I'd want to have a label, I didn't want just any old label. Not all these disorders have the same mystique and romance surrounding one like, I don't know, RTT. Dr. Nana asked me what I liked about it, and I said I would have to think about that. I thought about it, and I said I felt special. He asked me if I could pick any disorder I wanted. What would it be? I said I would have to think about it as well. But off the top of my head, maybe something that could package a lot of my issues into one. For example, my issues surrounding statically charged balloons, palindromes, compulsive calcium deficiency, and braiding. Dr. Nana stared at me for a minute. You mentioned CCD. How is it you imagine a calcium deficiency is compulsive? I wilted in my chair when I realized what I'd done. I whispered in the smallest voice I had, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by that. He asked, why are you sorry? I said, I hurt your feelings, or at least I meant to, subconsciously. Dr. B, is this about my shell? I laughed meanly. It's about your not shell. And then I gasped and said, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Oh, God. You seem to be having a lot of feelings about me not having a shell. Say more about that. I cleared my throat. Oh, right, well, I think you are less, because you don't have a shell. What is wrong with my voice? Dr. Nana said, you are having an episode of vocal cacophonic distortia contortia disorder. It is the body's reaction to you having been incredibly rude, and it is now trying to distract the object of your insults, me, away from what you said by making all further dialogue difficult to understand while simultaneously changing the subject so that all further conversation will be about your vocal distortia. I said, wow, is VCDCD a cluster A disorder? Banana said, what do you think? I said, I think it is. I also think it is a cluster C disorder with the Roman numeral 5 after it in the shape of the capital letter V. So it's like VCDCDCV. Dr. B nodded. I know what you're doing. You are trying to make your acronym a palindrome. I said, oh God, yes. You have no idea. I'd rather wear my clothes backwards than live that close to a palindrome disorder and not have the acronym be a palindrome. Can I have it? Can I? Dr. B said, the Roman numeral 5 is not a V. your palindrome would be impure. I said, maybe I want it to be impure, dirty even, whorish. What's wrong, Slug? Since when did you become a prude? Or maybe the idea of an impure palindrome excites you. Meow. Why don't you say more about that? Dr. B said, that is all we have time for today. I'll see you next week.